Welcome to the Daily Influence, where our mission is to deliver a daily dose of positive influence that can uplift you personally or be shared within your sphere of influence. While not every episode may directly apply to your unique circumstances, we strive to provide insights and inspiration relevant to most people's daily, weekly, and monthly lives. Whether you are tuning in during the morning, noon, or night, the Daily Influence is here for you. Listen, share, and embrace the power of influence in your life. Hey everybody, Brian Smith here with the I Am Team series and the Daily Influence. And today's, as you're listening, is probably one of the most thoughtful days that we might have, at least here in the United States, because it's 9/11. And it's a pretty good day to start our discussion about individualism and using individualism for individualism, which we call the ultimate oxymoron. And if you've been following us for a while, then you know the difference that we have in our definition of individual. We define them as one or many acting as one. And that's what I mean about 9/11 being a good day for that, because it was in that moment that we came together as a country, we came together as cities, we came together as communities, as families, and we were actually rethought about what it was to be individual, what it was to be ourselves, and this group of humans with a common purpose. And that common purpose that was being attacked back then was freedom. Um, Vince Lombardi actually had one of the best quotes. It's in our book, Individual Influence. Find the I in team. Individual commitment to a group effort. That is what makes a team work, a company work, a society work, a civilization work. And Vince Lombardi was spot on with that about what individualism is. And it is one and it is many acting as one. What we're going to be moving us towards, what we have been moving us towards throughout the Daily Influence and our bodies of work, have been being great for yourself first so you can be your best for others. And I think over time, that was often looked at as being selfish, that if we were being our best selves, that there might be some selfish reason for that. And in fact, there might be. And it's actually healthy to be a little selfish. It's healthy to put yourself first in certain situations. It's best when it doesn't negatively affect others, when we don't create a negative influence through that effort to be best self. And that's really what we try to aspire to here at the Daily Influence and at IA and in our body of work, the I Am Team series, is that while there might be dangers in teaching people to put themselves first, and that people could take it the wrong way and do things with that information and with the things we teach that create selfish environments, that's not our goal. Our goal is to pivot them towards best self, to serve best for others, and to create that larger I, that big individual. And yes, we create the ultimate oxymoron in our teachings. It's very subjective when we say to somebody, be your best self, because we don't know what that means. You only know what that means. You can only define what best self is for you in your area of influence. All we hope to do in our work is to help identify what that is, identify that area of influence, identify those advantages and opportunities you have as an individual, and help you to realize best self from that realization, and to elevate you and to help you to put into context what the little I is, what you are, what your influence is, and what the big I's are in your areas of influence. And there's many. There are not just yourself, but there's your family, there's your friends, there's your work, and anything in between. All of those areas of influence are best served by your best self. And in understanding each of those service areas, each of those interactions or influences is important to how you prepare yourself for best self within those individual areas of influence. Identifying what best is, don't know, can't really help in this context, in a show, a podcast, create that definition. What I can help you to is to look at yourself and to look for the positive influences in your life, pull out throughout the stages of your life, throughout this current area of influence you find yourself, and find what's best and what best self means to you today, what best self means to you across the different areas of influence that you have. We have a story we like to tell about a salesperson we had back in the old SDC days. And SDC was System Design Consultants. And in the 90s, we had this technology company that primarily did infrastructure. Today, they're known as MSPs, or Microsoft solution providers, or outsourced IT companies, people that help others maintain their computer systems and their computer networks. And we had a good company. We had a great salesman. His ideas of influence were a little skewed, and Renee and I learned that early before we even hired him when we had him at our house. And we were talking to him about our company and what our goals were, and he looked around and he said, well, those are pretty lofty goals because it sure is obvious that you're not a Rockefeller. And it was that superficial area of influence of material things that drove him. And that's okay. If you find what drives you and it's wearing nice clothes, driving nice cars, having nice things, and it motivates you to be your best self in a positive manner, that's not a bad motivation. So he immediately pivoted and tried selling us on multi-level marketing. And what I noted was that he did it in a positive way, did it in a way that showed his passion for what he wanted to believe in. And that belief is helping other people earn and be their best self while selling them something better. Well, I hired him, and he was very successful. And through that, he started to earn more. But our comp model was low salary, high commission. You got paid for performance. And as he grew in his ability to sell, he also grew in his internal area of influence and felt like he deserved better titles, like he deserved a better comp plan that was more foundational, that didn't require as much sales and relied more on his personality and his foundational influence. Well, anyhow, he wanted more money. He asked for more money. We said no. He quit. He went somewhere else where he got that, and they failed. And it failed because they didn't pay attention to best self. They didn't pay attention to what that meant as an organization. And he came back to us and wanted to have his position back. And we said no. We said go out and learn what it is to be a leader. Learn what it is to be your best self for others. Learn what it is to be more humbling about your area of influence and be more positive about it. And eventually that's what he did. And 18 months later, he joined us, and it was a positive experience. And he learned the lesson of individualism, best self for others, best self for growing the larger I. That was his area of influence. And it was at that time and during that time that I learned lessons also about how to deal with people who were struggling with being best self. Even myself learning that lesson where I struggled with what that meant. I had a concept of it, but I wasn't really totally in definition and totally in sync with it. So we must all remain intuitive in understanding of what our best self means to us, define it within the context of our individual goals and the goals of the individuals around us, and also understand what it means to be accountable to those goals, accountable to that best self, accountable to what best self might mean in whatever area of influence we have. And having accountability for best self and the definition of it within our areas of influence is precisely where we're going on this journey as we review over the next many days. Individualism, little I, single person, individualism, many people and teams, and the oxymoron that it creates for best self. And tomorrow, we're going to talk about accountability. I hope you have a thoughtful day as you think about how today, 9/11, 22 years ago, brought us back together as communities. And the influence of that day reset what it was to be individual for each of us. That was understanding what was happening. And I hope that you can take that today, think about it today, and help it add to, rebuild, and move you forward in the spirit of individualism going forward. Have a great day.